Sometimes the love you're searching for is right in front of you, you just need the courage to see it. Michael's voice was steady as he looked into the camera, his arm around Rebecca's shoulders, their wedding bands catching the light. 3 years ago, I was a sleep-deprived single dad helping my intimidating boss create a dating profile. Today, we're a family. If you're wondering whether taking a chance on love is worth it, stay with us, our story might just give you the push you need. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Your support helps us share more stories of unexpected love and second chances. Michael Foster stared at his computer screen, the cursor blinking accusingly on the empty email he was supposed to be writing. The office around him hummed with Friday afternoon energy, people eager to start their weekends, making plans, laughing. At 35, he couldn't remember the last time he'd felt that anticipation for anything other than pizza night with his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. "Foster, do you have the Henderson proposal?" Michael jumped, nearly knocking over his coffee. Rebecca Winters, CEO of Horizon Marketing, stood in his cubicle doorway, one eyebrow raised in that particular way that made junior executives scramble for cover. At 38, she'd built the company from a struggling startup to one of the most sought-after boutique marketing firms in the city. Brilliant, driven, and utterly intimidating in her tailored suits and no-nonsense attitude. "Yes, Ms. Winters. Just finishing the executive summary." He shuffled papers, trying to look more organized than he felt. She stepped into his cubicle, something she rarely did with any employee, and leaned against the wall. "It's 6 o'clock on a Friday, Foster. Don't you have somewhere to be?" Michael thought of his empty apartment, the frozen lasagna he'd heat up after Emma went to bed, the pile of laundry he'd been meaning to tackle all week. "Not really." Something in his tone made her pause. For a moment, the CEO mask slipped, and he glimpsed something softer in her expression. "Your daughter is with her mother this weekend?" He was surprised she remembered he had a child, let alone the custody arrangement. "Yes. Emma's with Diane until Sunday night." Rebecca nodded, then did something completely unexpected. She sat down in his visitor chair. "Can I ask you something, Michael? Something not work-related?" He blinked at the use of his first name. In 2 years at Horizon, she'd never called him anything but Foster. "Of course." She hesitated, seeming uncharacteristically uncertain. "You're good with people, right? Understanding what makes them tick?" "I try to be," he said cautiously. "And you're divorced, but you date sometimes?" Michael felt heat rise to his face. Was his boss asking about his dating life? "Occasionally. It's complicated with Emma." Rebecca nodded, then pulled out her phone and handed it to him. On the screen was a half-completed dating profile on an app he recognized. "I need help with this," she said, her voice professional but her eyes betraying vulnerability. "The board thinks I need better work-life balance, which is corporate speak for, you're becoming a workaholic nightmare. My sister set up this profile, but I have no idea what to write that doesn't sound desperate or boring." Michael stared at the phone, then at Rebecca. The powerful CEO who made marketing decisions worth millions without breaking a sweat was asking him for dating advice? "You want me to help you with your dating profile? You have good instincts, you're a parent so you're efficient with words, and you won't gossip about it around the office." She shrugged. "Plus, you're the only person still here on a Friday night, which means you could use a distraction too." He couldn't argue with that logic. "Okay," he said, taking the phone. "But I'll need more than an executive summary to work with." For the first time since he'd known her, Rebecca Winters smiled, really smiled, and Michael felt something unexpected stir in his chest. They moved their impromptu profile-building session to a nearby coffee shop, neutral territory away from the office hierarchy. Michael learned more about Rebecca in those 2 hours than he had in 2 years of working for her. She'd grown up in a small town, the daughter of a mechanic and a nurse. Put herself through business school. Started Horizon in her apartment with one client and a lot of determination. She loved old black and white movies, had a rescue cat named Chairman Meow, and hadn't taken a vacation in 3 years. What about family? Michael asked, typing notes into her profile. Any nieces or nephews? Parents still around? My sister has 2 kids I spoil rotten. Parents retired to Florida last year. She stirred her latte absently. Your turn. Tell me something not in your HR file. Like what? Like how you ended up a single dad working 60 hours a week at a marketing firm. Michael hesitated. He rarely talked about his personal life at work, maintaining a careful boundary between his professional persona and his role as Emma's father. Diane and I married young, he finally said. Had Emma when we were both still figuring out our careers. She got a job offer in London 3 years ago, her dream job. I couldn't leave my mom, she was sick then and needed me here. We tried long distance, but... He shrugged. Some things aren't meant to last. Do you regret it? Staying? Never. Emma needed stability, my mom needed help, and honestly, I love what I do at Horizon. Diane and I are better co-parents than we were spouses. She's remarried now, happy. Emma gets 2 Christmases and double birthday presents. Could be worse. Rebecca studied him with new interest. You never mentioned any of this. It's not exactly something I put on my resume. Good at PowerPoint and navigating divorce court. She laughed, a genuine sound that transformed her face. We should add that to your LinkedIn. As the coffee shop began to close, Michael realized he'd enjoyed himself more than he had in months. There was something freeing about sitting across from Rebecca the woman, rather than Ms. Winters the CEO. So, she said, as they gathered their things. What's the verdict on my dating prospects? Michael looked at the profile they'd created together. It was honest, witty, and showed the Rebecca he'd discovered tonight, smart and driven, yes, but also warm and surprisingly funny. Any guy would be lucky to match with you, he said sincerely. Something flickered in her eyes. Would you? Match with me, I mean. If you saw this profile? The question caught him off guard. That's not really. Just hypothetically, she pressed. As feedback. Michael looked at her, really looked at her. Beyond the power suits and boardroom confidence was a beautiful woman with intelligent eyes and a smile that transformed her entire face when she let it show. Yes, he said honestly. I would. She held his gaze a moment too long, then looked away. Thank you for your help, Michael. I'll see you Monday. As he watched her walk to her car, Michael felt a strange sense of loss, as if he'd glimpsed something precious only to have it slip away. Monday morning brought a return to normalcy. Rebecca was Ms. Winters again, all business as she led the weekly staff meeting. If she remembered their Friday night conversation, she gave no indication. Michael told himself it was better this way, clearer boundaries, no complications. Then came the text, just as he was picking up Emma from school. How would you describe yourself in a dating profile? He stared at the unfamiliar number, then realized it must be Rebecca. He'd put his contact into her phone when they were working on her profile. Asterisk probably, chronically overworked marketing manager, makes great pancakes, comes with enthusiastic 8-year-old who will ask you 500 questions before approving you. Asterisk he replied. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. Asterisk sounds like a catch. The Henderson client wants to meet Wednesday. Bring Emma to the office after school if your sitter can't cover. We have that playroom for a reason, asterisk. Michael stared at the text, surprised by the accommodation. The playroom had been installed for clients with children, not employees. Dad? Who are you texting? You're smiling weird. He looked down at Emma, her backpack nearly as big as she was, dark curls escaping from her ponytail. Just my boss. The scary lady in the pictures on your desk. She's not scary. She's just focused. Emma gave him the skeptical look she'd perfected by age 4. If she's not scary, why do you always say, yes, Ms. Winters in that squeaky voice when she calls? I do not have a squeaky voice, he protested, tickling her until she giggled. Come on, ice cream before dinner? Don't tell Grandma. As they walked hand in hand to the ice cream shop, Michael found himself wondering what Rebecca would think of Emma, and why he suddenly cared. The Henderson meeting ran late, forcing Michael to bring Emma to the office as Rebecca had suggested. He set her up in the playroom with her homework and tablet, extracting promises to behave and not wander. I'm 8, Dad, not a baby, she said with an eye roll worthy of a teenager. The meeting was successful, but Michael found himself distracted, checking his watch repeatedly. When they finally wrapped up, he rushed to the playroom, only to find it empty. Panic seized him until he heard Emma's distinctive laugh coming from down the hall, from Rebecca's office. He found them sitting on the floor, a game of Monopoly spread between them. Rebecca had removed her blazer and heels, her hair falling loose from its usual perfect arrangement. Dad! Ms. Rebecca has a cat named Chairman Meow. Like Chairman Mao but a cat. Isn't that the funniest thing ever? And she's letting me win at Monopoly. I am not letting you win, Rebecca protested, but her smile gave her away. Your daughter is a real estate tycoon in the making, Michael. She owns half the board. Sorry about this, he said. The playroom was boring, Emma interrupted. I finished my homework and went exploring. Ms. Rebecca found me trying to use the coffee machine. She was very resourceful. Had already figured out how to add the coffee pods, Rebecca said, admiration in her voice. Michael watched them, this unexpected tableau of his boss and daughter playing board games on a Wednesday evening, and felt something shift in his understanding of Rebecca Winters. Dad, can Ms. Rebecca come for pizza night? She's never had pizza with pineapple and bacon. Emma, Ms. Winters is very busy. Actually, Rebecca interrupted, pizza sounds perfect. If the invitation is genuine? Michael met her eyes, saw the question there, the careful opening of a door. It's genuine, he said. Friday at 7? I make the dough from scratch. I'll bring dessert, she replied, and the smile they shared felt like the beginning of something neither had been looking for. Pizza night became a tradition. First monthly, then bi-weekly, then weekly. Rebecca slipped into their lives with surprising ease. She helped Emma with her science project, introduced Michael to foreign films, brought Chairman Meow over for playdates. The lines between boss and friend blurred, though at work they maintained professional distance. Michael's mother, recovering from her illness but still perceptive as ever, noticed the change in him. You're smiling again, she observed during Sunday dinner. Real smiles, not those polite ones you've been wearing since the divorce. Rebecca makes us laugh, he said simply. His mother gave him a knowing look. Is that all she does? Mom, it's not like that. She's my boss. And I'm the Queen of England. But despite his protests, Michael knew something was changing. He found himself looking forward to Rebecca's texts, saving funny stories to tell her, noticing the way her eyes crinkled when she laughed. Emma adored her, and Rebecca treated his daughter with genuine affection and respect. Still, he kept his feelings carefully contained. Rebecca was still technically his boss, still helping him advance his career. And she was actively dating, the whole reason they'd connected in the first place. Another dating disaster? Michael asked, finding Rebecca in the break room, staring morosely into her coffee. 2 months had passed since they'd created her profile, and she'd gone on a handful of dates, each seemingly worse than the last. He spent the entire dinner talking about his CrossFit routine, then asked if I wanted to see his abs. In the restaurant. Michael winced. Did you? I told him I'd rather see the check. She sighed. I'm deleting the app. This was a mistake. Don't give up. The right person is out there. She gave him a strange look. Maybe they are. Just not on a dating app. She hesitated. Emma mentioned Diane is taking her for 2 weeks this summer. Yeah, they're going to visit Diane's parents in Scotland. Emma's excited about looking for the Loch Ness Monster. Rebecca nodded, seeming to make a decision. I need your help with something else. Not work-related. Are you free Saturday? Sure. What do you need? I'll text you the details. Casual dress. Before he could ask more questions, she was gone, leaving him puzzled but intrigued. Saturday found Michael at an address Rebecca had texted, a cooking school in a trendy part of town. She was waiting outside, dressed in jeans and a simple blouse, looking younger and more relaxed than he'd ever seen her. A cooking class? He asked. Italian cuisine. You mentioned wanting to expand your pizza repertoire for Emma. The class was fun, messy, and filled with laughter. They made pasta from scratch, Rebecca getting flour in her hair, Michael struggling with the pasta machine. Their finished dishes were imperfect but delicious, and they sat at a small table to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Thank you for this, Michael said. It's been a long time since I did something just for fun. Rebecca twirled pasta around her fork. Can I ask you something personal? After seeing me covered in tomato sauce? I think we're past formalities. Why haven't you dated since your divorce? Really? The question caught him off guard. I told you. Emma, work, my mom. Those are responsibilities, not reasons. Her eyes held his. Are you still in love with Diane? No, he said honestly. That ended before she left. But? Michael sighed. Dating means being vulnerable again. Risking disappointment, not just for me but for Emma. She gets attached quickly. If I bring someone into her life, it has to be someone who understands that she comes first, that we're a package deal. Most women I meet aren't looking to take on someone else's child. Rebecca was quiet for a moment. And if you met someone who already cared about Emma? Who saw her as a bonus, not a burden? Something in her tone made his heart beat faster. That would be different. Michael, she said softly, why are you helping me find someone else when you could just take me out yourself? The world seemed to stop. What? You heard me. Her voice was steady, but he could see vulnerability in her eyes. I've deleted the dating apps. I'm not interested in meeting strangers when I've already met someone who makes me laugh, challenges me intellectually, and makes the best pizza I've ever tasted. Someone whose daughter I adore, and who sees me as Rebecca, not just the CEO. You're my boss, he said weakly. Technically, the board is your boss. I'm just the CEO. And I've already spoken to HR about the company's policy on consensual relationships. You have? She nodded. 2 weeks ago. After Emma beat me at Monopoly for the 3rd time and you both did your ridiculous victory dance in my living room. I realized I was happier with you two than I'd been in years. Michael stared at her, this woman who had transformed from intimidating boss to essential part of his life. What did HR say? That as long as we disclose the relationship and I recuse myself from decisions directly affecting your employment, there's no conflict. So you've thought this through. I run a company, Michael. Thinking things through is what I do. She reached across the table, her fingers brushing his. The question is, have you thought about it? About us? Had he? In quiet moments, when Emma was asleep and the house was still, had he imagined Rebecca's laughter filling the silence? Had he pictured morning coffee shared on the porch, movie nights with the three of them, holidays and ordinary days made extraordinary by her presence?